After a big month of June, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs should have an even bigger month of July on the recruiting trail as multiple top targets are ready to make their final decision. What's going on, guys? Matt DeBerry, dogpost.com, making you a smarter Georgia fan. Listen, the Bulldogs only added one commitment this month, and that was just a few days ago from Corey Thomas, an out-of-state defensive back from Florida, but I think they could get even more good news in the month of July, and that's because a lot of their top targets took official visits this past weekend. Of course, it was a big month for everyone, but Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs were able to host some of their top targets for official visits this month, and with the dead period starting in July, a lot of these kids know where they're going. They got all their questions answered, and now they are ready to make their decision. So who are they? Well, that's what this video is all about. Now, I want to get started with Kojo Antoi, a major Georgia target from Lambert High School, right down the road from me here in Forsyth County. He is a major target, and I think this is going to come down to Texas A&M, Georgia, and Alabama. He's actually visiting Southern Cal right now on an official visit, and he will be making his public decision on July 5th, so about a week and a half. And I do think the Bulldogs are probably not the team out in front, but I do think that he had an excellent visit there earlier this month with Gunnar Stockton, Denylon Morissette, Oscar Delp, and others that first week of June. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I think the Aggies are probably the team to beat still. I know Alabama really impressed him. The Ohio State Buckeyes are still in the mix somewhat, so is Southern Cal. But I do think Georgia's in that top three, and it really wouldn't surprise me to see him pick Georgia. But right now, I do think they're probably behind Texas A&M. But who knows? He will have a decision in a week and a half, it looks like, on the 5th. So definitely a guy to keep an eye out. Another in-state prospect ready to make his decision is Kojo Sapp. He's an offensive lineman from Lee County down in South Georgia. He's going to be committing on July 3rd between Georgia, Florida State, Florida, and Cincinnati, of course. If he goes to Cincinnati, I'm not sure what happened there. There's no way this kid is not choosing Georgia, Florida State, or Florida if he has a spot to go there. But I think the Seminoles are probably the team to beat right now. Not sure where he stands on Georgia's board on the offensive line. But if he does have a spot, then you kind of have to like their chances. If you could play for Georgia right now, there's kind of no reason to go to Florida State, seeing where the two programs are. So he's going to come in on July 3rd. Georgia's in his top four. Kojo Antoi, he's committing on July 3rd. Kojo Antoi is committing on July 5th. And I think Georgia is in the top three there. Another guy to know, Jake Pope, three-star defensive back from Buford High School, made the game-winning turnover to win the state championship for Buford last year. The guy's an absolute playmaker, one of the best athletes in all of North Georgia. He's taken two visits to Georgia this month, both unofficial. One was on June 1st. The other one was earlier this week on June 24th. He's taken official visits to Alabama, North Carolina, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. He's actually at Alabama right now, and he told me that he's coming close to a decision. I think he's going to the beach with friends next week, and then we'll come back and talk it over with his family and probably make a decision sooner than later. So I definitely think commitment in July is coming. And again, he took two visits to Georgia this month, so they definitely are in the running. In-state school, definitely a guy to keep an eye on. Another one, Oscar Delp, the four-star tight end from West Forsyth. I've said all along I really like where Georgia sits. He has not come out and said, hey, I'm committing on this day, but I do think that a July commitment is likely for the nation's top tight end prospect. I've seen him more than anyone out there by a mile. The dude runs routes like a receiver. There's a reason that he's been Georgia's top target since the fall, the beginning of last fall. And I really do like where Georgia sits. He's at South Carolina on an official visit right now. He's got some family ties there, family ties to Michigan as well. He took an official visit up to Ann Arbor earlier this month. He's been to Alabama, took an unofficial to Clemson, took an official visit to Florida. He's got some family ties to Clemson as well. His uncle played there in the 90s. So there's a lot of teams in the mix for Oscar still, but I do think the Georgia Bulldogs are probably sitting in the best spot to land him right now, and I do think that a commitment will come next month. He hasn't come out and said that, but I'm expecting a July commitment right now for the number one tight end prospect and number one tight end prospect for Georgia next month. Another guy, Branson Robinson, y'all know all about him by now, arguably the top running back prospect in the entire country. He's Georgia's number one running back target. And he's a big deal. I think this is going to come down to Georgia in Alabama. He's coming off a recent official visit to Tennessee, a recent official visit to Alabama, but I've always liked where Georgia sat with him. He's another guy who took his official visit earlier this month, that first weekend of June, with Gunnar Stockton, Kojo Antoi, Denine Lund-Morissette, Oscar Delp, and others. So I was told that he fit right in and had a great time, and I think Georgia rolled out the red carpet for him. He's going to be announcing on July 22nd to honor his late uncle, I believe. And unless Alabama really makes a big surge in his recruitment, I do think the Georgia Bulldogs are probably the landing spot. And I felt for a while now that they have a comfortable lead with Robinson, who is the #1 running back in my eyes in the country. And so those are just a few guys who have either set their commitment date or plan to probably announce next month. And of course, there's going to be others who decide, you know what? I'm taking all my visits in June, and July is the dead period. So once July hits, these kids cannot take visits, and I do think a lot of them are just gonna, make a commitment and get it done. A lot of them are gonna do it before their senior season ends anyway. They can't take any other visits on campus legally, so I do think we're gonna see a lot of commitments across the country in July, and I do think Georgia has set themselves up nice to add a few guys in July. So they've had a few decommitments this month, no doubt about it, losing Bear Alexander, Deion Bowie, but they did add Ja'Cory Thomas late in June. And I think a lot of that momentum will roll into July, and I think Georgia should pick up multiple commitments. It might not be Antwi, it might not be Sapp, but I do think that a few of these other guys who have Georgia high on their list could absolutely commit to Georgia in July. Either way, whether it's a surprise commitment or not, I expect the Bulldogs to have a monster month of July on the recruiting trail, and I think the commitment list is going to look pretty different than what it does now. But of course, we've got what we're hearing on all this and much more on Dog Post. Guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on the website.